In my world, it's not size that counts. The World War II era Grand Slam said to Ed Murrow, his stiff and starched self reclining to the left of this corpulent blimp, her half-moon lips and cruciform tail fin a quiver on my small screen as she turned gently on her nose. It's the force of the blast. If you can get deep enough, push through the reinforced concrete and worm into the underground factory, bunker or dockyard, then that's the perfect way to set off the earthquake, cause the most damage. Murrow frowned, his camel clamped between fingers, its column of ash caught in the south wind's breeze, blown to fragments through the cardboard curtain frame and across the bomb's yard. Like a marionette, Murrow raised his arm and, with his ring finger, scratched the mole above his upper lip. He said, "Tess, you had one job, yet you did not detonate. Some people say that you did not do your duty, right or wrong." "Ed," she said, "let me explain. I would die for my country. I was built in a spirit of love and affection. The hopes of a whole nation were invested in me. My job was indeed a simple one, my purpose with a definite end, to bring freedom's sucker punch, totalitarianism's unmarked grave. You cannot imagine the weight of expectation upon me. Remember, there were no nukes then." Murrow nodded, flicked ash into the wind. "You were the bomb to end the war, to end all wars." My eyes were fixed on 10-ton Tess's 22,000-pound frame. She said, "Right. On the 13th of February 1945, before I was listed into the Avro Lancaster, I was kissed by a young RAF officer. She whispered, 'Go, girl. Do us proud.'" "Do us proud," said Murrow. "And did you do us proud, just switching off like that?" Tess lost her smile. The camera lingered as she turned a full 360 degrees, her mouth downturned, her shark's teeth hidden. She said, "Soon we crossed the channel and were over Germany. It took a while before we reached Dresden. I was hot and cramped. There was not enough space for a cookie cutter, let alone a tall girl like me. The bomb bay doors opened, and that's when it really hits you, the vastness of the earth below. How alone you are. I looked down to search my quarry, and my heart sank. Where were the industrial zones, the dockyards, the military bunkers? It was all Baroque and Rococo twirls and spires, layered wedding cake. I said, 'Guys, this has to be the wrong place.' The crewman waved me away, told me to get to it. I thought, I have to go on trust, have faith. So I jumped, pushed through the air until I approached the speed of sound. I sniffed like a beagle for a factory, a railway, an armoured vehicle. You name it, I tried so hard to find it. The RAF's words just went round and round my head. Do us proud, do us proud. Then it hit me. You know the saying, if a tree falls in a forest, Murrow completed the phrase, and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? Exactly. And soon I wouldn't be around. And if I wasn't around, how could I know if I had done us proud? Murrow leaned back, took a drag. Right. How would you ever know? Tess rattled her tail fin. 200 feet to go, and I saw the fallen sign. Knocked to the ground, it read, Schul. Snap, I made my decision. I hit the ground lightly as I could, dug a shallow hole and just lay there, tail up, exposed. Indeed, I did not detonate. You refused to blow. Pure insubordination. I guess so. But Ed, didn't you once say, do not confuse dissent with disloyalty? Murrow lifted his chin, raised his eyes and said, I did. I guess one could argue that you would have killed hundreds of innocent children, but instead you took the initiative. Through your decision to live, you let them live too. Right, said Tess. But, said Murrow, within 2 days, Dresden was a firestorm. Thousands of children in bunkers roasted alive. Are you glad you lived to see that? Are you, Tess? She closed her eyes. I stand as a reminder to what could have been. A testament to death, he said. No, she said. A testament to life, to trust your gut, and to do us proud. Hate is not the black ink that spreads, but rather the squid camouflaged behind its tulip jets, that bloom nubilous jellyfishes, which reminds me of the lies my son used to comfort me with, as I doted by his bed, and how his mother trembled before our God to grant but a glimpse of the boy's burnt, angry heart. Our son was unique, but our burden is not. If you're always a best man, never a groom, and you have polished stones in your pocket, then as you walk and they rub together, you will hear the peep-peep of pinky mice calling their mother for your stolen grain and your stolen fruit. Now pinky mice are food for reptiles, and zookeepers lift them tail up by thumb and forefinger and drop them uncut and wriggling into the mouths of monitor lizards that simultaneously compete for the hottest rocks, unwilling and unable to say please and thank you, with their thin tongues that flicker and flit the salt air, ready to jump and grab from the jaws of their own mother, father, brother and sister. Fate deals from a loaded deck, unless you're a pinky mouse. All equally damned from the get-go, so know your place in the sun, and don't raise your head too high. If you're the apple of your mother's eye, make sure you go to bed each night before sundown, so your morning glory is complete with dreams from past lives that crackle like brown leaves, and you wonder why you bothered to stare at the woman on the bicycle. So maybe you smoked your first joint and knocked up your girl. The world's not going to stop turning. Just don't do it again until you turn 21 and find your own place. And remember, when you fly and you hit turbulence, to put your own oxygen mask on first and then the baby's. I had missed the one she had set aside, specifically indicated, the large tax bill on the list, smeared with rancid butter. That was our contract. She kept the house, and I paid. I had not done my part. That morning in the bath, I had failed to take care, and cut her with surgical scissors, stainless, polished and sharp. I cleaned her up, taped her shut. Her eyes like geckos, glued to the ceiling, a freeze, then a dart. I dreamed of a violin and its rehaired bow, a trim of a bridge, the shift of a soundpost, the reshoot of a fingerboard and the smile of my musician, her eyes closed, her instrument forgotten as she played. The beggar who slept on our porch, his odour a morning bubble of sour vegetables and moist sweating meat, punched the trellis door to awaken me, confront me on his hunger, his torn clothes, his dead father. She said, workmen took 3 black bags of wood from the attic, my quarter-sawn sycamore and spruce boards, retrieved by the roof repairers and cast into a skip for the Cape Town dump. It was, she said, a fire hazard. So much flammable material was culpable neglect. We were so lucky. I imagined someone in a shack to the east, casting into a fire purfling, ebony strips and tailpin, unfinished carvings of scroll and F-hole, crackle and combust to cook and give light. I remembered a story, a man who made a portal to transfer his soul to an Armscor Cray computer, to live forever in binary limbo. To my young self, I shed my old, wiser self to his youthful mind, a boy slumped by a broken instrument on a workbench, absorbed by dreams of townships inflamed in figured maple.